Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Grace Stencil, who is here on behalf of the Laguna Woods Amateur Radio Club. Well, Grace, nice to see you again. It's been almost a year. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and I want to thank you for inviting me onto this show. And I always am happy to give a plug for our radio club because I'm proud to be a member of it. So,
well, good. Yeah, we had you on some time ago when we had Tim Moy, and we were talking about captains and emergency. But beyond that, which we'll touch on, but beyond that, let's talk about how the club was formed.
Well, our club was formed way back in the early 70s, and it originally was just a social club, and it has developed into not just the social or casual radio communications, but it has also gone into emergency procedure radio communications, which we really believe in strongly and work very hard at.
Well, and it's really great, especially if all of our electricity goes down, our communication, cell phones, and things like that. So it's good that there's people around. We haven't completely converted.
Yes, and by the way, Lisa, I wanted to mention that we are the only club that is mentioned in the Laguna Woods Village Disaster Preparedness Emergency Plan. So we work very directly with security and the disaster plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Amateur radio, are we talking about ham radios, or what are we actually talking about?
We're talking about ham radios, not walkie-talkies, not cans and strings, just ham radios that use the airwaves.
Okay.
To communicate.
What a ham radio is. Like, what is it made up of?
It's made up of radios, wires, antennas.
Okay. Let's see.
Antennas.
When I look at that, I'm thinking that's a walkie-talkie.
That is, I know, and a lot of people confuse it, but walkie-talkies are very limited on distance. So you might not be able to go beyond 2 miles to talk to someone. Not this particular one, but I have several radios. We can talk around the world.
Well, obviously, we've been all cooped up in our homes for the last year. And, what a plus for you, because not only can you use your Zoom, but you can use your radios too.
That's correct. When COVID struck, we went from in-person meetings to right into Zoom meetings, and we will continue doing that. I will talk about our nets, and I'll explain that later. We can do that without leaving our homes because we all have our own radios, so we can communicate without leaving our homes during an emergency or, exercises and training.
Right. Now, you said talk to people all over the world with the radios. So at the time that COVID was happening, were you able to communicate with people in the other parts of the world?
Oh yes, COVID has nothing to do with the radio waves. They go.
Did you talk to people that were in the UK or somewhere else about how things were going?
I personally cannot because I don't have the license that allows me to go that far, but we do have a few club members that are able and do talk to other countries. Yes.
Oh, see, that would be a really nice plus because then you can get the information firsthand before you put it on the news.
And that happens frequently during any kind of a disaster. For instance, the fires that we had recently, we were all on our radios listening to what was happening, and people were reporting from their radios to us. So we knew if we had to evacuate, probably before most of you would have.
Oh, that's really good to know. We did have Carlos Rojas on, and we were talking about the fires. And, of course, you have lots of different ways to get alerted. So it's good to know that you also could be a great source of information for everyone.
Yes, and if you don't mind, I would love to show you and the audience what happens during a disaster. Okay, may I do that? It'll just take a minute. Okay. So let's say that I'm at home, it's 2:30 in the morning, and there's a pretty good sized earthquake. It wakes me up. The first thing I do as a radio operator is I check to make sure everyone in my household is safe and that the building structure is also safe. When I determine that, I then get on my radio and I check in, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to say, Net control, this is KM6JOS, ready for assignment.
KM6JOS, this is net control. Deploy to Clubhouse 3 and report when operational at that location.
Oh,
Sorry, I dropped something. Net control, this is KM6JOS. I copy, report to Clubhouse 3, and announce when I am operational. This is KM6JOS clear. Okay, so now I've reported in.
Roger, KM6JOS, 1087WG net control, clear.
Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. Okay, so now
who was that?
I'm going to tell you, that was our Disaster Preparedness Task Force radio officer. His name is Bruce Bonbright. He is a very special member of our radio club also, so he's involved in a lot of different things.
Well, yeah, the terminology you guys is very specific.
It has to be, and I'm going to explain that when I get into the messages that we have to relay to other people. When you send a message under an emergency, it has to be very distinct, it has to be clear, and it has to be in terminology that can't be manipulated or misunderstood. So it all has to be very specific.
So yeah, tell me how that works right now, because my son he's a pilot, and so obviously pilots have their own language too, and it does have to be extremely specific to avoid any collisions or accidents. So tell me how your language works.
Well, we follow pretty much the military language. So we have all of our alphabets are like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. So everybody has that. The other thing that we try to ensure is that we do not use words that are not necessary. Oh, please send someone here. We don't do that because it just takes too long, and we need to be accurate, precise, and quick to get help.
Okay.
So may I go back to when I was deployed to Clubhouse 3 real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So now I've been told where to go. So I'm going to don my very fashionable orange vest that tells who I am and allows me to go into the buildings.
Right.
And I'm also going to carry, you can't see it, but I have a to-go bag that has extra equipment in it, radios, batteries, a couple of bars to eat on, energy bars. So
Right.
I run up to Clubhouse 3 and I set up my table with the radios and all that. And then I check back in and tell them I'm ready to go. Now, in the meantime, back in the neighborhood, the good neighbor captains are also deployed to do their job, which is go to their associated manors, check on the people. They have a form and they fill in anybody for bodily injuries. How many pets do they have? Is there building structure damage? And that report is then whipped over to Clubhouse 3. I get it. I take off of the most immediate items in priority, and I relay that to the Emergency Operations Center, which is located at that point in Laguna Woods City Hall.
Okay.
That is supervised by the security department, but we always have 2 or 3 ham radio operators there to relay the messages from us to EOC.
Oh, that's great. Let me ask you, what if you're not home? Do you carry your radio with you?
Oh, most of us have radios in our cars, yes.
Oh, God.
And once in a while, you'll see as you're driving, you'll see a car with a little antenna sticking up off the roof or off the trunk or something, yes. Yeah, we do. We carry them around.
Well, truckers do that too, right? Is that the same kind of radio?
No, those are CBs.
Oh, CBs. Okay. I see. What's the difference?
Well, a CB is limited. It doesn't, ours can go, you can't get in a truck and call Europe.
Oh, gotcha.
And you can't get in a truck and call Arizona.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Okay. So
tell me, if someone wanted to participate in the club, what do they do?
Well, I would Oh, we would love to have them participate. What a great hobby this is. You know, it's a family hobby. This is great for grandparents with their grandchildren, or a father and their children, or a mother and her children. It's just a wonderful family hobby. And they can come to our club, go to lagunawoods.com, lagunawoodsvillage.com, scroll down to clubs, click on that, scroll down to Amateur Radio Club and click on that, and it'll give you contact information, and it'll give you a little basic of what it takes. It's not difficult. I did it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay. I've only been a ham radio operator for 2 years.
So if you don't have, you can still learn about it, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And we have provided a place in our club for people who want to become ham operators. We call them associate members, and we help them get through the system and understand it and become technicians, which allows them to talk on the radio.
Yeah, that does sound like a great idea. Something new to learn for 2021.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a hobby, but it's also very important for your community.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the more the merrier. How many do you have now?
We have almost 60 people in our club. No, so that's not too bad when you consider it. You do have to have a license to talk on a ham radio.
Right.
So, but I would love to invite the viewers to go by Clubhouse, go by our radio room at Clubhouse 1. It's all windowed. You can look through and see all the extensive equipment we have. And that radio equipment is what allows us to communicate throughout the United States and the world.
I love it. Gosh, Grace, thank you so much for the information. And you have a great new year in 2021.
Well, thank you. We're certainly looking forward to it. We'd love to tell your viewers that we hope they have a very safe and healthy new year also. Thank you, Lisa, for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Grace. Take care.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.